Hey guys, it's Prithvi here, and as you can see, the Nasdaq has not been doing great at all this year. In fact, it has fallen nearly 30% in just these 7 months. Okay? So, your position is most likely that you were invested in stocks like Apple, Google, and Tesla if you were a smart investor. However, you might have been invested at prices such as 1200 for Tesla, almost nearly 3,000 for Google, um, and even 182 for Apple. So obviously you're not going to be very happy right now having losses of 20 to 30% as the market continues downwards, right? So how do we profit from this situation? Or how do we hold and use our current positions to end up making a profit in the next year or two? Because we need to be thinking long term, as market crashes can lose you a lot of money, but if you're patient, they can also make you twice that money. Okay? So, first, let's go over some of the catalysts that are driving this crash so far this year. So, of course, there is the Ukraine and Russia situation. Gas prices are already skyrocketing, as many of you most likely experienced. So, we already have that situation going on, which is driving prices down. We also, a month ago, had disagreements between China and the US about Taiwan. Okay, if any military involvement does take place, that will be horrible because China and Taiwan do happen to be the two large creators and manufacturers of electronics, especially China, as you already know. So, if military disagreements did happen, then that could cause a huge crash, which is already happening. Fed is not doing much to stop any of this. They're just kind of sitting there doing nothing. And the U.S. economy did actually shrink against expectations. Okay, so it shrank a good amount, and obviously that's not a good sign. We also have Bitcoin, which is getting destroyed. This currency, which was supposed to be, impossible to bring down. It wasn't affected by, governments or, the rest of the market. It was its own currency. Obviously, that was not true, as this year it's fallen nearly 60%. So even if you were invested in cryptocurrencies, you are actually doing even worse. In fact, twice as worse as if you were just holding NASDAQ. Um, Now, this is the fifth major crash in the past 50 years. And obviously, they don't take place much, which is why we need to make sure that we use this opportunity to maximize profits, right? So, how do we do that? So, first, you cannot let emotions affect your decisions. So, go and look at your portfolio and check, are you holding strong companies? Okay. So, are you holding, random penny stocks or, really weak stocks that don't really have much of a future and they have no way of really driving through into the future? Then you probably need to get rid of those positions and instead buy stocks that are strong and good companies like Apple, Google, and Tesla, which are just a couple of the examples, right? So, majority of investors right now are going to do one of two things, right? One is just sell everything before it gets worse, right? It's down, the Nasdaq is down 30% right now. Well, what if it's going to be down, 50% later, right? So I can't wait for it to be down 50%. I'm going to get out right now and then try to time the market, okay? Which is obviously, you cannot time the market. Studies show that you will lose money trying to hold cash and then buy in at the perfect time, okay? So that will not work. And then the second thing that investors will try to do is just stop investing overall and think that, the markets are just failing and they're not going to recover, which obviously time and time again, we have seen that no matter what happens in the crashes, the 2008 crash, the market recovered from that. Okay, the 2020 crash, the market skyrocketed from that. Okay, so the market continues to always recover from these crashes, which is why we need to make sure that we don't give up on the markets, because the markets will always recover, as we've seen time and time again. Okay, so now what can we do to, instead of doing one of these two things, which will lose you money, what can we do to make money? Well, we can use the words of Warren Buffett, right? Who said that when others have greed, then you should have fear. Okay? However, when others have fear, you should have greed. Okay? So this is the perfect situation for that. Everybody is scared and they're selling their stocks, they're strong companies like Apple and Google, but you should have greed and look at the discounts that you're getting for these stocks. Okay? You must view this as an opportunity to buy great companies at great prices. Okay, this is Black Friday. Okay, this is a huge discount. This is a sale for stocks all around. Okay, so this is a great situation if you're looking to buy in at a discount and hold for a while, right? So if you already own companies like Apple and Google, well, you might, be in a huge loss right now. However, what you need to be doing whenever you have cash is you need to be averaging down into these positions. Okay, I'm not saying put all of your cash into them right now. I'm saying put 10% or 5% this week, and then 5% next week, and 5% the week after that, and keep on doing that, because eventually you're going to have a much better price in the stock. So that's going to mean that when it does eventually recover, which it will, I promise you, then you will be making a lot of money. Okay, so now there's, a lot of people are thinking that, it's time to just get out because they're falling so much. But what you have to remember is, if there were so many people lined up to buy these stocks when Apple was at 182, when Google was at 2,900, and when Tesla was at 1.2K, right? If so many people were lined up to buy these stocks at that price, why would you not want to buy them at these heavily discounted prices? Tesla is nearly half the price, okay? Nearly a 50% discount here. Google, 1/4 discount, 25%. And Apple, also nearly 25% discount here, okay? So if you were able to buy these stocks in December and January, when they were so high, right, and their value was so high, why wouldn't you want to buy them at this big of a discount, right? So that's how you have to think of it, that this is an easy way to get in at great companies, at great prices, and you need to remember that you should think long term. You need to invest in a crash in order to achieve results. So if you want to have results of 30 to 40% gains in the next 2-3 years from this crash, then you have to start investing now. Don't try to time the market, because you will fail. Studies have proven that. Okay? And yes, there are things like inflation that is rising as well. But those things can be overcome by just what happens every single time, which is that the market recovers. Okay? As we can see here on this study, the average length of a bear market is 289 days. Okay? It has been 7 months into this bear market, which is 210 days roughly. Okay? So that is the average length. Now, could we recover next week? Yes. Could we start recovering in December? Yeah. But is it possible to time this? No. Which is why you need to start investing now, start averaging down right now, and trust me, in the next 1, 2, 3, 10 years, you are going to be very happy with your positions, because, well, these stocks are going to recover. Okay, so that is why I personally am going to be averaging down into my positions, buying, and I will have greed when others have fear. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, and make sure you stay tuned for more videos.